Known as one of the hardest bosses in Arknights, Tallulah, the Deathless Black Snake, is the final boss of Chapter 8, appearing in both GTA 3 and HA 4. She up to this day still poses a major threat to even older players. Today we'll be dissecting on what makes her so complex and also what we can do to strategize against her. For the sake of simplicity, we'll call her Tallulah. However, do not be confused as she is different from the Tallulah on stage GTA 2. First off, we'll talk about her stats. Tallulah's stats are just as expected for late game boss, although she has rather low attack, defense and res if compared to say Patriot, who has more than double her attack, defense and res. However, she possesses a lot more abilities that will compensate for this lack of stats. We'll start with her basic attack. Tallulah swings her flaming sword, dealing pure damage and inflicts burning breath for 30.5 seconds to one target. This attack can hit units on both melee and ranged styles. What is burning breath? Burning breath is a status attack where units affected by it will receive gradually increasing pure damage every second, from 50 per second to 230 per second, dealing a total of 4,290 true damage over 30.5 seconds. Units under this effect will also only deal half damage towards Tallulah. This bit is very important as we don't want our DPS units to have this debuff, else we lose a lot of damage. Next, we'll talk about her skill. Her first skill is called Ignite. Tallulah inflicts Burning Breath on two most recently deployed units for 30.5 seconds. She fortunately won't target units already affected by Burning Breath. This skill has the cooldown of 19 seconds. Ignite requires a lot of attention to deal due to how spammable it is and how much damage Burning Breath deals. This skill also can target civilians and will ensure their death, making HA4 one of the most frustrating stages out there. The most common way to combat this is to bring units with low redeployment time to act as a bait to prevent main units from getting Burning Breath debuff. Next is her second skill, called Detonate. This skill causes units affected by Burning Breath to explode, dealing 100% arch damage to the 4 adjacent tiles with a cooldown of 35 seconds. What makes this skill threatening is the fact that while it removes Burning Breath on its main target, it spreads them to all the victims in the 4 adjacent tiles instead. This is why positioning is key against her, as you don't want to non-stop getting bombarded with Burning Breath on all your operators, especially on HA4 since you don't want civilians to get hit by this. This is why putting operators on these tiles are dangerous and requires precise planning to make sure they won't spread Burning Breath onto them. Since Detonate cooldown is 35 seconds, which is about double of Ignite cooldown, taking attack interval into account, we can see that she will use these two skills in a somewhat periodic manner, which is roughly Ignite, Ignite, Detonate, and repeat. Using this information, we can plan out our deployment accordingly. Tallulah also has a third skill that's only available on her phase 2. But before talking about her phase 2, we'll talk about what happens on the transition between the two phases. After Tallulah's HP reaches 0 for the first time, she will temporarily vanish and then summon Deathless Inferno, where 10 waves of fireballs on each lane will engulf the map, shooting from left to right, dealing 100% arch damage to the first unit it came in contact with. Because of this, it's recommended to position your team not in multiple lanes, but instead just 2 or 3 or 4 to lessen Medic's burden. This is why Nightingale are recommended since fireballs are arch damage, thus she can help mitigate them, and also her cage being able to tank multiple waves by itself. On HF4, we also need to protect civilians from it, which makes things even harder. Luckily, civilians are capable of tanking at least 2 fireballs each, which reduces the amount of fireballs needed to be tanked. After Deathless Inferno ends, Tallulah reappears with full HP and becomes invulnerable for 15 seconds. Her phase 2 increases her HP and attack by 15% and unlocks her third skill. Her third skill is called Summon Energy Aggregates, which, for the sake of simplicity, we'll just call Crystal. She summons crystal around the map, marked by a glowing red T symbol. This skill has the cooldown of 75 seconds. The location of the crystal always follows predetermined pattern, which both map has 7 of. These are the GTA 3 crystal pattern. Meanwhile, these are HA4 crystal pattern. Since third skill has the cooldown of 75 seconds, which is roughly double second skill cooldown, we can roughly estimate phase 2 cycle will roughly be Ignite, Ignite, Detonate, Ignite, Ignite, Crystal, and Detonate. With this information, we can prepare to destroy the crystal after the third Ignite and place our units to deal with them accordingly. Lastly is the end phase. After Tallulah reaches 0 HP on second phase, a second Deathless Inferno will occur, which, after it ends, only then she finally dies. And that's Tallulah, or more known as the Deathless Blade Snake, one of the hardest and the most complex boss in Arknights. Give a like if you find this video to be helpful. Comment down below if you want me to cover other boss or have something to ask. And lastly, subscribe.